I'm Kathy Henry, and I am a licensed clinical social worker in the Indianapolis area, and I am proud to work for Healing Hearts of Indy. Today, what I'd like to talk about is working through an affair. As counselors, we are faced with this day in and day out. Couples and individuals coming to us devastated by finding out that their partner has had an affair, or someone who is currently involved in an affair or has had an affair, and they're struggling with the guilt and the shame and just the effect that it's had on their life and their marriage and decisions about what to do with their lives going forward. So one of the first things that we do when an affair has been discovered is we have to work through the pain that the person who was cheated on has been experiencing. And they have just learned of this, usually, or just learned of another occurrence. And so they are very distraught. They're in a great deal of pain. They're surely lashing out and angry, and that comes from their hurt and their fear. A lot of times I talk about walking around sort of like the walking dead, because everything that you believed to be the case in your marriage now is being questioned. You're wondering, did the person ever love me? What else do I not know about? And then also they might be looking forward and terrified of what this means now. Are they going to leave me? Am I going to be alone? Am I going to be financially devastated? Am I going to have to try to find somebody else? What's this going to do, of course, to my family? So there's a great deal of just uncertainty that it now has entered the picture in a life that was previously very secure. And all of that brings with it just a great deal of turmoil, not to mention the betrayal of the one person that you believed you could trust. Of all the people on this planet, we partner up with our spouse, and that's the one person above all else that I can trust, and now this person has betrayed you. So that's just a tremendous amount of an emotional mushroom cloud to deal with, and so that person has to work through it. Meanwhile, the person that cheated is also going through some pain, and the person who was cheated on probably doesn't want to hear about that right now. They don't see it the same way, because they're just now beginning to experience pain. And the person who did the cheating was experiencing pain long before. And that's why the affair no doubt happened, is from their own pain and so forth. And then they sought out someone to help them medicate their way through it. So they've got a lot of pain as well, not only from what got them to this place in the beginning, but also now all of the guilt and the shame, knowing that they have done something that has hurt the person that they loved. And they also have the same uncertainty: is this going to mess up my family? What's my future going to look like? Are people going to accept me now that I've done this horrible thing, and so forth? So a lot of people come in and they think that this initial work it really can be worked through together. And quite frankly, since they're just such very different types of grief, a lot of times these are not things that really should be worked through together. And people try to deal with it alone at home, and he's dealing with his stuff, which is completely different than her stuff, or vice versa. And it is just so difficult. They can't really get on the same page and help each other because they're too busy dealing with their own pain. And that's why a counselor is just the perfect medium to help each one of them deal with their own pain until they get to the point where they can talk to one another about what was going on, what caused this, what needs to change in the relationship in order to try to save it and keep it going forward, and so forth. And so I can't emphasize enough that when working through an affair, it is really important to understand that each person's pain is very, very different. And they are dealing with different stages of grief. One that already knew the grief was going on and was dealing with it before the affair even happened, and certainly before the affair was revealed. And the other person who the grief just now began, and they're in the what I call the flailing stage, where you feel like someone pushed you off a cliff and you're grasping for life. You just feel like the rug was ripped out from under you. You've been gutted. Your life as you know it is not the same, and just everything is different, and you've got to wait for some time to work through that grieving in order to be able to have some rational conversations about what was this all about, and what are we going to do going forward, and what am I willing to tolerate, what am I not willing to tolerate? Is this person really in recovery? Are they not in recovery? Should I tie my boat up to this person again and trust them to not hurt me again? There are just so many questions that there's so many things to deal with, and so many questions, and it's just very, very difficult to go through alone. It's also something that the two of you really are going to have a difficult time working through on your own. So at home without a third party. So I just encourage you, if you are dealing with an affair that's been recently discovered, that you entrust a counselor. Bring a counselor into the equation that has worked with a lot of affairs and who understands the dynamics of both sides, and see if you can't get on the same page. And like I said, it's going to take some time, it's going to take some work, but regardless of whether you end up staying together or not, it is really one of the best gifts that you can give to yourself. So I thank you so much for listening today, and I wish you all the best in your endeavors.